of it all, untouchable, a new animal. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another LSH Live Patreon video. I hope you all had a great week. I am Jeremy LaRose. This is LSH Live, where we help you all become better riders and manage your horses at home. In this video, we're going to be going over more of the lunging stuff. So, such an important topic to me. I think this is a huge deal. This is not only just lunging, right? So don't get confused and think, oh, this is a lunging video, I can lunge, this is easy. This is getting a hold of our horse's mind. And that, to me, is the hardest part about horse training. So, this is something very simple, very easy to overlook, but something that if you spend some time doing will pay off dividends in your horse training. If you don't have your horse's mind, you cannot train on them, okay? And I can't stress that enough. If your horse does not respect you on the ground, they're never going to respect you under saddle. So you're only going to have problems that can be solved so easily here on the ground, can be felt and found so easily here on the ground. So it is worth your time to put in the hours here lunging your horse and getting it correct and getting it to pay attention and getting it to honor your commands and stay focused on your lesson right here and now. Even if it's only 30 days worth, it will pay off dividends down the road because you won't be battling those little things under saddle that are hard to fix, right? So in the process of correcting these same issues under saddle, you might create other problems like your horse kicking out at your foot or bracing against the bit or being upset, and I don't want that, right? So it's so easy to fix those problems here and now, difficult to fix them under saddle, if not create other problems as you go. So the biggest thing you can do when you work with your horse on a lunge line is observe. So what I'm paying attention to are, is he paying attention to me on this circle? So are his ears on me, are his eyes on me, or is he looking to the outside of the circle, which is what happens a lot as I lunge him around here. The other piece of this is he on edge or not? And that's a hard piece to kind of figure out. So when I watch a horse lunge, I'm watching from their front shoulder forward, and I'm trying to pay attention to the overall feel and tone of this horse. And that's probably the most like abstract part of this whole deal. In what really separates good horsemen from bad, is that you have to be able to understand the feel and the texture of your horse's body. So when I'm watching him go around, I pay attention to his front feet. I forget where I heard it, but there's a piece of advice out there that said horses show tension in their front feet. So the first place that a horse is going to run away and leave is their front feet. And you'll never get a horse to land softly or cover ground softly in their front feet if they're tense or nervous or worked up. So I really want this horse to land softly. I want him to think slowly. So if you look at the way that he goes around here, we have to have this horse not go slow because I don't want him to actually go slow. I want him to have forward motion, especially when I go to train on him here. And there's a couple times in future lunging videos that you'll see we actually get into him for not going forward. I want him to move forward. I want him to move freely through his face. But I want him to think slowly. So that's one of those things that he's going to slow down naturally. The rhythm of his feet is going to slow down. But if he's fiery in his front legs, then I have to do more transitions. I have to do more work in getting a hold of his mind. So a couple things that you see me do as I lunge this horse around, I'm going to do lots of transitions. So there's that pull that we talked about in the last video. Steady pull breaks him down. And then I'm going to bump my hand. So you see my left hand just kind of casually bumping against this chain. And that serves a couple purposes. One, I want to know, what does he feel like? Right? So if I was riding him, what would his face feel like? Does he give me his chin willingly? Does his neck stay soft as I take a hold of his face? Or does he get tight and tense? And if you look at this horse going around, you can see the muscle in his neck is all bulgy as he goes around. So he's getting tight and tense in his neck as I work with him. So anytime I touch his face, I feel that tension. If I didn't have a hold of him or he was hanging on me, I wouldn't be able to feel that. So I've got my fingertips on that lunge line, feeling, does it give me his chin softly? And what I find a lot of the times that I ask is that he either bows his neck up and kind of hides his nose from me, or he twists his head and shakes like that, or he cuts in on me. So all of those things kind of are clues to whether or not he wants to be out here, whether he's really focused on me, whether he's giving me his attention, or if I'm having to take it away. So a couple times you see me take big steps into him, and that's, again, it's to get a push out away from the center of a circle to stay out on the edge of my line. And I'm testing, are you A, paying attention to me, or are you surprised when I move into you? If he jumps through this, then he's surprised that I was moving into him instead of paying attention and watching me for leadership. So the other piece of that, and something we see a lot in this horse, and something you'll find in your aged horses, is that when I step into him, he gets defiant about it. So he doesn't just move out away from me, he tries to like bow up, and he's just a touch shy of kicking at me. So I always go back to, what would this horse do in the wild, right? If it was me and him out in a pasture and there was a pile of hay, if I was dominant over him, if he was submissive towards me, then when I moved towards the hay pile, he would just give it up. And we don't find that here. So when I first start working with any horse, we're gonna have to establish a pecking order. So moving into him in the lunge line here is a way to say, am I in charge or are you in charge? If I take space away from you, do you give it to me willingly, or is it a debate and a discussion? If it's a debate and discussion right now, before I ever get on his back, I've got big problems under saddle that are gonna be putting my safety at risk to fix. So what does that look like in other areas of his life? If he's pushy right here with me, he's gonna be pushy in other areas. What does that look like? This is it right here. How many people have gone in a stall with a horse and tried to push them away from you, and they lean back? So you see this horse brace up, he puts all his weight on his right hind, pushes into me. This is, again, the same kind of thing where he pushed on me under saddle, he pushed on me on a lunge line, he's gonna push on the ground. So I want to demonstrate what people do here a lot of the time that get in this spot. They're gonna try to get into a battle with this horse, they're gonna try to lean into him. I am not stronger than this horse. So the more I push on him, the more he can brace against me, and now it's a battle of whoever's stronger. So I want to show you guys how not to do this. This problem that we see that I knew was going to happen on the lunge line progresses into other areas of his life. This is going to be the same in his stall, on the ground, in showmanship, in loading in a trailer. All of these issues kind of compound on top of each other. We are one step away from getting kicked here, right? And I want you guys to understand that. The more he pushes on me, the next thing he's gonna do if I don't go away, if I don't establish dominance, is reach around and bite me, or kick at me, or kick in the stall, or just put us both in a dangerous spot. So I knew this was gonna happen based on what he did in lunge line. So this is not the cause of the problem. This is not the issue here. That problem is entirely related to, I have an older horse here, I have a 4-year-old horse that just thinks he can bully his way around and throw his weight around and be bigger than me. So that dominance, that challenging for space, is an overarching theme throughout his life. So it's not, my horse kicks at me in a stall, what do I do? It's, my horse doesn't respect my space, right? So whether it's showmanship or whatever, this is all about respecting my space. This is having a horse that understands he's got to give me space when I move into him. That's the bigger idea here, is that there's a battle for dominance going on when you first start working with a horse. The quicker you can establish who's in charge, the quicker you establish, I'm the teacher, you're the student, the faster you'll get to working and making progress and being safe throughout the whole deal. So this was the 4th workout that I had with this horse, and you can see the difference between the first one in the earlier part of this video and where we're at now. His neck is lower, there's no bulging muscle in his neck, he's relaxed, and he's starting to respect my space a lot more. You see, now I can bump his face with my hand, and he'll give me his jaw to the inside, and his legs hit the ground way softer. So we're winning the war, and that's the bigger idea. We might not win every individual battle, especially in the beginning, but we make progress, and we're winning the long-term game with this horse. I'm going to work with this horse for the next 7 months at least. I have lots of time to get there, right? I have lots of time to get this horse where I want him to be. But what I need out of him is I need him to understand that I'm in charge. I'm the herd leader here, and you've got to pay attention to me the whole time. If you look at his inside ear now, he's always watching me. He's always focused on me and what I'm doing. And when I make a move, he needs to give up space. So it's about him reacting to me softly. You see, he's thinking a lot slower than he used to. That's what we're going for through this whole process. That's what makes this horse soft and safe for me to get on and ride when we first get started. So these are all things that need to happen. I need to have control of all of these things before I first step foot in the saddle, before I ever get on his back. I want him to be relaxed in his neck. You see how soft he is here? He's got a kind look in his eye. He's just relaxed. He's enjoying his space. I'm not forcing him to stand still. I'm not making him be right here. He just gives me his parts and pieces willingly. This is a horse that's ready to work. And I think a lot of people kind of rush this process and don't allow that horse to come into his own to say, hey, you can do whatever you want with me. That's the kind of horse that I'm looking for. Is I want a horse that says, you just put me wherever you need, I'm going to try. So you've got to create that first. If you take your time and you create that willingness to try, you're going to avoid a lot of dangerous spots, a lot of scary situations under saddle, a lot of just trying to establish who the leader is under saddle, where it's a lot more dangerous to do. I want to have the leader established before I ever get on his back. So when we talk about training horses and you see us train ours and they seem so easy, it's because we take our time and we put in work right here. That beginning first 30 days, to me, is the most important part in your horse's life. If you don't take your time and create a willing student here, you're going to have a monster of a time down the road. So using all the powers of our observation, right? You see how much softer he is in his neck here. I can go back and I can show you, and I will show you all the different parts and pieces that this horse went through get to this stage. So this is a horse that's now ready to go on. We've moved up grades here. We've got a willing student. That's the important piece. And that's my entire focus up to this point. Lunging your horse is not wasted time. So if I use every lunging as an opportunity to train on this horse, I'm not wasting time in his program. To me, this is one of those things that is not debatable. So there's a lot of times that we look at horses and we train horses and we say, you know what, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's not just one correct way to do this. In my book, there is one way to start horses, and this is it. So I just need a horse that's willing and soft. I'm not trying to take his face away. I don't care what his legs look like. I don't care about how fast he goes or how slow he goes, as long as he goes forward. So you've just got to have a horse that will follow where you put him and is relaxed and soft. The only thing that a horse trainer should be trying to do in the first 30 days is get a horse to where it's quiet and willing. It's got to have 3 gears, and that's it. So your entire mission in those first 30 days is just to get your horse to where it will take all 3 gears, it will kind of steer on a circle, and it likes its job. So you see how much through all of these videos I've pet this horse. To me, that is the most important part. You've got to pet your horse a lot. He's got to understand that this is a fun thing so that you can push him hard later. There will be lots of time and opportunities to push this horse hard down the road. There is no horse that ever made the show pen in the first 30, 60 days. So I am under no pressure, no obligation to get this horse to where he's giving his face up and he's packing his face and he's shaping up in the first 30 days. All he needs to do is enjoy his job and guide. So Macy's here helping me on the ground, helping me get my transitions so that I don't have to kick him. If I have to kick him, he's not going to like me, right? So that's an important piece. If I have to spend time booting this horse to get him to take the gears, is he more or less likely to come out here and enjoy his job next time? On this horse in particular, this is his very first ride here with me. I ran into a problem like right here where he doesn't steer. He doesn't follow my hands. It's because he's too soft on my inside rein. So I don't know what kind of work this horse had done before he came to me, but he's way too soft on my inside rein. So then he drags his outside shoulder out there. You see how much of a problem this becomes because I don't have the tools to fix this under saddle. So in the next video, this one's getting kind of long, but in the next video, I'll show you how I fixed that on the ground so that it's not an issue under saddle anymore, right? So getting this horse to where he just stays between my hands and my feet is going to be the mission of our first 60, 90 days. So all I need is for him to stay between my hands and my feet and guide. If he understands those basic principles and he likes his job and understands that this is not a scary thing, there's no hurry, just chip away at it, then I've got a winning horse in the end. So it's all about getting your horse to where he'll do his job willingly and he understands the process. That's all your first 30 days is. Get him to where he understands what the training process looks like and feels like. And what is that to me? That's a lot of positive reinforcement, a lot of petting him, a lot of reward, and a lot of release. So that's it for today's video, guys. This one got kind of long. There's so much to cover here. I'm going to do this again in a follow-up video. As always, our video for the second part of the week covers more of the intricacies of what I'm doing. So the first part covers what goes through my head, our theory. The second part covers more in detail about the specifics of my hands, my feet, my seat, the things that I'm doing. So thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. I will see you in the next video.